Okay, so here we're already familiar with how to open and edit your course. We've already taken you through the process of creating your course and also how to add lessons to it. So I think we also went as far as how to add the quiz title to your lessons. If you have forgotten that, we can go through it. We also mentioned that you can use quiz in form of test or exams to assess the student. So if you have forgotten how to add your quiz, this is how you add it. Right here, you have three options. If you take the first options, you're adding a lesson. If you take the second option, you're adding a quiz. If you take the third option, you're adding assignment. If you can't remember these options, simply pointing to them will give you hints on what each of them will do for you. Now, the one that's currently selected is always the one that is highlighted in blue. So if you want to add quiz here, what you do is click on the quiz icon, make sure the quiz icon is selected, and then you type the quiz title here. So you can say general quiz. The quiz title may be related to the topic for that week that you want to present an assessment on. It could be a general quiz, maybe you're selecting from different topics for different courses, or you're selecting doing a general quiz that covers all of the topics that have been treated. But if it's related to the topic, assuming I want to add a quiz for this particular topic, I can say general tests on simple equations, But if it's not related to that particular one, I just want to do general test, I can just leave it as general test and tap enter. Remember, tap enter and watch this saving icon until it's complete. Once it's complete, the quiz name will become available right here. So to add questions to that quiz, you just point to it, scroll to the right, just like you do with lessons, and take edit item. Once you click that, it opens in a new window. Take note that it opens in a new window. That means to the left here, you still have your course open. So you can switch between the tabs for the general tests or quiz you're adding and the course that you're working on. So right here, we have options to add your questions. So what you do, you type the question here first. Okay, we can say here, what is the capital of Lagos? So once you do that, these become highlighted. If you don't type this, you won't be able to select the type of question that is. So you type the question first. What is the capital of Lagos? So you see that this becomes highlighted. That means you can select any question type that you want here. So you have the option to take true or false, multiple choice, single choice, fill in the blank, and sorting. All of these are self-explanatory. Multiple choice means that if you have 4 options, the child has the option of choosing 2 or 3 options as the answer. Single choice means out of the 3 or 4 options presented, the child must select only one. Fill in the blank, the child types the answers directly into a blank space. Sorting, the child is given 4 or 5 different options or 3 options and asked to sort them in the proper order. True or false is self-explanatory. The answer is either true or false. So if you're taking what is the capital of Lagos, that means you want to create a single choice option for that child. That means the answer can only be one. So we'll come here and take single choice. Once you do that, you observe that saving sign there. So we now have the option box here to create 3 options. If you want to make it 4 options, you just add an additional option here. Wait for the saving to be completed, and then you can come to each of these options here to begin to type in the correct one. So we can say Surulere here, delete this option and type any other one you want to type there. Aja, Ikeja, Mushin. Once you're done with that, you select the right option here. So the right option for us here will be Ikeja. So we'll select Ikeja here. Always remember to select the correct option here, because that's how the system grades the child. If you selected a wrong option here, that means the child will be graded with the wrong option. So how many marks? What's the how many marks do you want to apply for that question? You can actually set about 10 questions and grade the students by scoring them different marks or different questions. So this is what you do. If I want this child to score 5 here, I can put this as a 5, but the default is always 1. So the question explanation here is what shows at the end of a quiz or test or exams to explain the answer here for the child. So the explanation can also guide with giving the child more information and helping him learn more about it. So you can give an option here, Ikeja is the right answer, and then you can tell the child a little more about Ikeja, like Ikeja has a population of blah blah blah, you know, and maybe it is the seat of power of Lagos, you know, and the seat of power of Lagos is called Alausa, and it is in Ikeja. So if you want to provide a hint for the child here, which the child will see right under the question, you can provide it here, like saying the seats of power is called Alausa and is found in one of the 4 options presented. So every other thing is left blank. Now the bottom here, you select options related to the quiz. We've only added 1 question right now, so we can go on to add more questions before we come down here to select options such as how long you want that quiz to last, or the time that the child is allotted to answer the quiz. You decide here whether you want to present the quiz on a page. That means the child will see question 1, 2, 3, 4 serially like that on a page, or if you want the child to see 1 question per page, clicks next and you go to the other one to answer the second question. So show list of questions while doing quiz as ordered, you know. So if I uncheck this, that means all of the questions will be presented on a single page. If I check this, he'll see one, work on that, moves to another, or you skip that and he'll go to another, and then he can always come back to this other one that is skipped later. So the passing grade here is what you select to tell the system what percentage the child must score before the system marks him as having passed that test or exam or quiz. The number of retake you want the child, you know, to be able to access the test before it is locked up. Usually once it's set to 0, the child only takes that test or exams once and is not allowed to retake it again. So in most cases, we are just giving this like a practice guide or a practice aid or an assignment for the child. You can decide to allow the child to repeat this as many times as he wishes until he's able to attain a perfect score. Show check answer means that for if you select this option to 1, these two options is you either select a 1 to enable it or a 0 to disable it. So in this case, show answer means for every answer, every question the child answers, the correct answer is shown immediately below it. But if it's set to 0, that means the child will finish answering all of the questions. If you have 10 questions, the child will answer 10 questions before he is presented with the right answers. Show hint means that there will be a button under every question that shows the child a hint that would help him or her to answer that particular question. So you decide what you want to select here as an option. So once you're done with that, you come up here. Take note up here that once you're done with your question, you can click this button to minimize that question option so that you can see the next question that you want to add. So we're going to add another question here by saying, maybe giving a different question here. Nigeria, okay. Let's take a question like Mexico is in Africa, true or false. So we'll select a true or false question option here. So once we do that, we are giving true or false option. So we'll say false. And as explained earlier, you can give a question explanation here that says Mexico is in America, is in North America. And to provide better hints, you can quickly go to your Google search, get more information about that country and paste there. Now what this does is that it helps the child to learn more about that particular topic. This explanation, it's more like helping the child learn more about that particular topic with every test or quiz answer he selects. So let's make this 5. Yeah. Once you're done with that, selected the right option, we click here to minimize. And you go to the next question, type whatever you want. Let's select an option to add a picture to the quiz. What color is the circle? The picture in the photo below. So let's take a fill in the blank question here. Once you click, you wait for it to come up. So next question here, let's select a sorting order option. So arrange these the following in order of, in alphabetical order. Order. So we'll take a sorting option here. So now for the sorting option, you just fill in directly here in the exact order that is accepted as the correct order. So if we do goats here, cow, lion. So the correct order for these will be, correct alphabetical order will be for this. So you basically drag around to fix in a particular order. So you have C before G before and then L. If you want to add any other option, you can click this, wait for it to finish loading, delete that, and let's put maybe a zebra. And then you award mark for this question, let's say 10 here, and then you provide the question hint here. So we're done with this. Let's go to the third option. The fourth option, I mean, question type will be the fill in the blank. Okay, let's do a fill in the blank question here. Let's say the capital. Okay, what is the capital of Nigeria? So this will be a blank one. Fill in the blank. Once you click the fill in the blank question, you begin to type the options that would be typed by the child and accepted as the correct one. So we'll type Abuja. So, and press enter. Okay. Once you're done typing, you have to select it. The hints are always available here. Once you select it, this becomes available. So you insert this as blank. You type another one, maybe in lower cases, because the child may type in lower cases. Select this and say insert as blank. So because you want the child to be able to use any of the options, whether typed in capitals or lower cases, and then we're done with the fourth option. So the fifth option, question type, will be the multiple choice, which is very clear to all of us. Now you can always switch by pointing to this icon here. You can switch the question type, but take note, when you switch the question type, you also have to go in and switch the options, because if you had selected a single choice answer and you're switching to a true or false, that means you have to go in to that particular question to edit it, and that means you have to click this option so that it expands that question settings and you pick whatever you want there. So at every point in time, you select this to expand or close up that question. You can delete any one, remove this from the quiz, or you can go in and edit it generally, or you can duplicate it. So you have different options for working with the quiz. Now remember to add a description here or a guide here, or instruction, quiz, test, exam instructions right here. So once you're done with that, remember in this case you have to do a lot of things manually. You cannot use the mammoth.docx here that we use for uploading the lessons. So once you're done here, you take note that is assigned to the particular subject you want. Okay, answer all questions correctly. I am adding a quiz description here, or quiz guide or instruction. Questions with different marks. Read carefully before you answer. Okay, so once you're done with that, remember, update, just like saving. If you do not update, you would have lost everything you had worked on if you closed without updating. So we're done with that. Once you're done with that, you can always go here to view the whole of the course so that you can see how that child will see the course when presented, the quiz presented in the course. So we are going to right click here. Like I said, always right click and open in a new tab so that it doesn't close what you're presently working on. So this is opened in a new tab. So I'll go here to check how that child will see that quiz when presented. So I have the general test here, which is the title we gave to the quiz here. So I'm going to click on this. It's saying there are 4 questions here, and I have 10 minutes to answer the 4 questions. So I'll click on this to see the presentation of the quiz right now. Okay, so here we are. Attempts allowed, so no attempts. You only have 1 attempt, no additional attempts. The duration is 10. The passing rate grade is 80%. The questions there and the instructions we gave to the kids. Under the instruction which we did here, you can add photos or videos there that will appear right in front of on top of the quiz before the child answers it. So once the child gets to this point, he clicks start. Now most of these explanations are very important because the teachers would have to explain how this works to the kid and the parents. Okay, so once you do this, it's showing you 1 of 4 questions. The time is counting down, and first question is presented. What is the capital of Lagos? So we'll select right answers and wrong answers in some of the questions so that we'll see how it's presented at the end of the day. So I'll select a wrong answer here or wrong option here and say next. So the child can skip the question at any point in time. You can mark the quiz as completed. Once you do completed here, that means the quiz will automatically end and you'll be scored as, with whatever score you had attempted before clicking complete. You can always skip to the next question and come back later to answer. So we've answered this. What we'll do is to take next. If you click finish here, that means the whole of the course will be marked as completed, which is not a good thing to do because there are other quizzes that the child is supposed to have taken. He'll be scored 0 for that quiz. So it's very important not to click this until the child gets to the last option for that course. So we'll go for next here. Remember the time is counting down as we're talking. So we'll go to next, wait for it to load. Okay, so here we are. Mexico is in Africa, true or false? So this is a false, and we'll go for next. So sort the following in alphabetical order. You can see that it has been rearranged from what we had before, sort of mixed up, from what we arranged before. So we're going to do this arrangement this way. Now for this kind of option where the child needs to arrange 4 options, you can decide to award an even number like 4 points, so that whichever one he gets correct will be awarded 1 mark. So if you're going to add a score for this, you can make it 20. So each mark, each correct one is awarded 5 marks, or you can make it 8 so that each is awarded 2 marks. So we'll arrange these. Let's try to get 3 of it correct and get the other 2 wrong. Then we'll say next. Yeah. So right here, the child has the option of typing 2 different options. So you can always explain this to the parents, so that the child can type any of the 2 options, whether in upper cases or lower cases. But now all depends on you. You can decide to just use 1 option, because if you are taught the child properly that a proper noun should be capitalized, you can actually use this to penalize the child for typing a proper noun in lower cases. So we'll take Abuja here and Abuja here. But in most cases, it's advisable to just use one option. So, so at this point, we only have complete and preview. So we can either complete this or preview to go back, or previous to go back to see the other questions we have skipped. So at this point, we'll say complete. And you're given the option to agree that you actually want to complete this quiz. So we'll say okay and wait for the score. You have to wait. Okay, so here we are. So it's saying time spent is 432, points is 16 out of 21 points. Questions we answered 4, the correct ones 3, the wrong ones 1. Now, it all depends on the marks you had awarded to each question, not on how many the child answered totally, because one question can carry almost half of the marks, total marks to be awarded. It all depends on you. So once this is done, this is seen, the child knows that this is what I have scored. So, and you see that in this question, the child is not given the option to review, because we had not selected the option here to allow the child to review, okay, the question. So if you want a child to be able to see the answers at the end of every quiz, always select this. So once the child is done answering it, he will be able to see the correct answers. So once you select that, a new option comes in here where you select show correct answers while reviewing questions. So you're going to tick it so that once the child reviews the questions at the end after having been awarded his marks, he will be able to see the correct answers. So always remember to select that option. So that is why after that, remember to update. That is why this child did not get the option to review his tests or quiz or assignment to get correct answers. Okay? But since we had corrected these by adding the option to review, you observe that once we refresh this page, the child should be able to see the option to review at the bottom of this. Okay, so this is the option to review, so we can review this. And okay, so here we are. So it's showing us anyone ticked in red means that we got that wrong, and anyone highlighted in blue means that that should have been the correct answer. So the teachers need to take time to explain this to their parents and their kids. Maybe one Zoom session with the parents will explain this to them. So we'll go to the next one that we missed or got right. Okay, so you can see this had an explanation. So the answer, the blue, shows that it was the right answer. You can see it's not highlighted in red. That means we got this right, and it's highlighted, the bar here is highlighted in blue. That means we got it right, and that was the correct option that was selected. And the explanation is here. Mexico is a Spanish-speaking country situated in North America. So this gives the child an additional information about this. So it's not just about passing the test or quiz or assignment, is also about helping the kids to study, gain additional knowledge while taking this. So we'll go to the next one. Okay, so we got 2 correct and 2 of them wrong. That's why you have these 2 correct ones highlighted in blue and the 2 wrong ones highlighted in red. Correct answer here should have been lion, and correct answer here should have been zebra. You can see it provides additional, help for the child. So we go to the next one. Okay, so this showed the both of them are in blue to show that we got this correct. If this was wrong, it will be crossed out and it will show in red. So At every point in time, the child can always go back to see summary based on the score he had at the end of the test. So this is how you work on your quiz. To the left here, the quiz as presented. So if you want the child to retake this, because the child does not get an option to retake this, if you want the child to retake this as many times as you want, you can always go back to the exams or test or quiz itself and select the option at the bottom here that says retake, maybe one more time or two more times, and then update. Once you do that, you can come back, the question itself, and refresh. You see a new button here that shows the option to retake that quiz for the child. So even if that child had taken that quiz before, you can always, still saving, so you can always add the option to retake that quiz at any point in time here. So redo quiz. You have two more chances to redo this quiz. That's why you have this button presented here. So basically that's how you work on your quiz. So for what some schools do, they use this option to also present assignments, because it means that the assignments are automatically graded and the students are presented with the answer. So it depends on what you want to call it. You can select a quiz there. Right here, you can select the quiz option here, but rather than type a quiz, you can say assignments right there, but this quiz option, because the assignment option here presents some kind of challenges. That means the parents have to download it, work on it, scan it, and upload it back to you. So that presents, several steps that makes it difficult for some parents with internet challenge. It presents an option, a challenge for parents that do not have printers, because we are giving the child an assignment where he has to write on the sheet of paper. That means the parents must download it, print it, fill it, and push it back. So that's why some schools use the option of quiz but call it assignment, so that the student can just work on it directly the way you work on a quiz, and it is assessed directly. But in this case, you can use different quiz answer options or answer types to make it more engaging and more interesting for the child. So you can do that and just say assignment on blah blah blah, and that's it. So this is very important. How you approach this depends on you.